So one of the ways that you may want to work so that you can separate your backgrounds from your text is by using the layers. So I've stepped this project back a couple of steps so I can start it over again. And I'm actually going to get rid of that text. I don't need that. So I'm going to create a new layer and make sure I'm working on that layer. This is my layer 3. I'm targeting that layer. And I'm going to create that background box. So clicking and dragging over it. And I'm going to take my eyedropper tool, and since I already have this background color set up, that's the color I want it to be. And now I'm going to lock that box so I can't move it accidentally. And now I'll create a new layer, and this is the layer I'm going to put my text on. So now I'll take my text box and drag out to make the space for my headings, trees, and I can do the same thing I was showing before about taking the eyedropper, and I'm going to get a really light green, and I'll change the size and make it something really large. And now this is on its own layer, and I can click and I can drag it around, and I'm not accidentally grabbing that background layer. Okay, so it definitely saves you a lot of time to lock the background layer, and as you're going, if you find that you're accidentally grabbing things, put them on different layers and lock them. So after that, really the rest is everything that we've been talking about before. Continue to think about your text in this grid structure. Maybe you want to have your subheading or your heading, depending on how long it is. Bridge the two different columns. Think about using those. The general rule for spacing is, I personally really like left and right justified because it creates really nice even columns, gutter spaces in between. It's very visual. If you are not going to indent, that you need to double space in between your paragraphs, or you could indent and have single space. I personally think this is a easier to read option because it gives you more visible spacing in between your paragraphs. But then adding the images and adjusting your grid over here in InDesign really should be pretty similar from what you did for your first two design practices and even what you've been doing in Illustrator. So that's all for these videos. Let me know if you have any questions.